Hey everybody, it's Micah. I'm gonna do this like mostly out of character, uh, mostly because I just kind of want to. This is more for me, if I'm gonna be honest, than it is for the internet. Because honestly, I still don't really know how I feel about it. Uh, what I'm talking about, of course, is uh, is yesterday, yesterday at the time of this recording on Tuesday morning at 10 p.m. at 10 a.m. Because a.m. is the morning. It means a morning. Didn't you know? At 10 a.m., All Elite Wrestling and Cody Rhodes announced the parting of ways, as in Cody, and then later. I mean, we found out very shortly after, maybe 10:01, after you read a couple sentences, that Brandy Rose also will be departing AEW. And I immediately thought this was a work. I immediately was just like, they're gonna do this in a storyline. They're gonna, Cody's gonna like be some mystery entrant of a thing. Like the Joker in the Casino Battle Royale, something to get around the whole he can't compete for the world championship. And as Tuesday went on, more and more came out, and then today, Wednesday, even more has come out. Uh and it's just I said that friend of the show, Ref Marsh, and I we talk a lot off air, obviously. But I said to him yesterday that as an AEW fan, I'm upset. I'm upset because even though it's sort of a meme and sort of a bit on the channel, I genuinely do like Cody Rhodes. And I know I said in October of 2020 that I thought he was the second greatest wrestler in the world currently. I no longer believe that he is the second greatest, because I said the greatest was Kota Ibushi, which I still believe full-heartedly. I believe that Kota Ibushi is the best wrestler in the world. Yeah, I don't think he's injured right now. That'd be a little embarrassing. Whatever. He's active. But I still think he's top 10. He's such a... I know that this is more his brother's thing, but Cody Rhodes is a natural heel. And I guess that's more and more why he left, because it's been reported, so take that as what you will, but it's been reported that he didn't want to turn heel because of how much of the community outreach stuff that he does with Amanda Huber and that team. And so he doesn't want to be portraying as a heel on screen, and then go into homeless shelters, food banks, and helping out there, which I get. But for a company like AEW, who really does not care about kayfabe off screen, where people just openly talk, it's not really. They really keep it more as a TV show, the whole kayfabe ideal. It's really hard to say why. But I also said in this same sentence to Rest Marsh, I didn't explain it this thoroughly, but I also said, as a Cody fan, I want him to be happy. If this makes him happy, if going back to WWE makes him happy, that's cool. He's got a little kid. I think she may be 6 months. I really don't know. It's a shock, but I don't really know how old Cody Rhodes' baby girl is right now. She's less than a year, I can tell you that, because I did watch Rhodes to the Top, all 6 episodes. That's another thing. Rhodes to the Top season 2 was like supposed to, like, it was reported that there were plans for season 2, and it was reported today that's not going to happen anymore. I don't know what's going to happen to the Go Big show. Those 5 fans are going to be really upset. The five people who watch it. That's sad. But if I were Cody Rhodes right now, I would 100% go where I think I would make the most impact, which is not Impact. I saw people online saying that he should go to Impact. That would be a bad idea. In my opinion, that would be a bad idea. Mostly because one of his best friends holds a major championship in wrestling. And I would really like to see, and he never got his rematch clause for this belt that he lost more than 3 years ago. I'm of course talking about Matt Cardona and the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. That would be fun because, as we know, when you're friends, it's a good match. Like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That's an example of like real life friends, and they just have good matches because they trust each other. That would be nice. But I don't want a fantasy book. I just kind of want to vent. I don't know what Cody really does in WWE past SummerSlam. Like does Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar really sound appealing on any side? That's like not a Cody match at all. And are WWE really so gung-ho about Cody that they're going to risk the biggest star that they have, Roman Reigns, and his championship to lose to Cody just to appease him? That doesn't sound right either. But on the flip side, that means that he would lose to Roman Reigns, which I think would be bad immediately. I know that in WWE, they don't count wins and losses. Not that wins and losses don't matter. They just they don't keep a statistic of it. But I think it's very interesting because then he'll just slip down the card and he'll just, Shinsuke Nakamura didn't defend on pay-per-view once the Intercontinental Championship. And that's it. And the other thing, which I haven't seen too many people talking about, is AEW has, for the majority of AEW's time, the Cody era of AEW, I think it should be now referred to as. The Cody era, he was on TV once a week. And there was 4 pay-per-views a year. And now there's, those TNT specials, Battle of the Belts, which they just announced a second one for sometime in April. So that's going to happen. And people didn't like Cody. People were really sick and tired of Cody by the end. And I don't think it was the fans that ran him out of AEW at all. Because Cody likes people. He doesn't care if he's booed or not. That's not he'll openly talk about it in interviews. He likes the people who cheer him. He likes them the people who boos him. But I think there could be a problem with Cody fatigue. Because for the longest time in AEW, he's been sort of at the top or around a championship. So in the beginning, he had that match with Dustin, and then he was immediately pushed as the number 1 contender. He had that thing with Jericho. He then had that feud with MJF, which wasn't a mid-card feud at all. That was a huge feud. And then after that, he had the thing with Lance Archer, which led right into the TNT title tournament, which he won. He then defended that a bunch of times. And then lost it to Mr. Brody Lee. He went away to film television shows that nobody watches. And movie. And yeah, that was like an MJF line. I'm not gonna edit this. Whatever. This is and then he was around he won the TNT championship back. And then he lost it to Darby. And then people might say that he like fell off a little bit, but he was in that ladder match. He was in that ladder match at Revolution. And then that Anthony Ogogo and Nightmare Factory versus Nightmare Family feud happened. And everybody was a big fan of that. And it wasn't problematic at all. And nobody talks about it anymore. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Derek and I talked about it on the award show for 2020, but like the worst promos of the year came from Cody in that feud. When Cody, there was the Cody solves racism. Then it's not a promo, but that weigh-in section was dumb, and they showed that on Rhodes to the Top, and they know backstage they were just like, this is dumb. Cody was like yelling at Paul White what his weight was because the weight didn't work, because in 2021 they used a real scale and not a digital scale, or they were actually just weighing him. Which, it's wrestling. You can lie. No one's going to be that upset if you lie about somebody's weight in wrestling. So yeah, he did that. And that's when people really started to turn on him. And then the Malachi Black stuff happened, and people just hated Cody during that. Nobody cared when he was going to retire. That's the episode of Dynamite that I watched with Derek live. Fun fact. Then at Grand Slam, everyone was just like, oh no, Cody's going to win this match. And he didn't. He did not win the rematch against Malachi Black. He won the third one. And then he was in that. Then the Malachi Black feud became like an FTR feud and a Pac feud and an Andrade feud. And he had a tag match with Pac for some reason at Full Gear. And then he won the TNT Championship again on Christmas. The American dream rides again, because Christmas can't be the same without a Rhodes Championship victory. And then he got COVID. And then he had that great promo, that ladder promo. It was sick. That might be promo of the year. I'm not kidding. That was classic Bullet Club Cody, if I'm going to be honest. But that's the thing. Like, this time last month, he was TNT champion. And now it's being reported that they're going to try to make that WWE is going to have him be in a WrestleMania match, like a very high profile WrestleMania match. So that's what's odd to me, because I kid you not, 2 days ago on Monday, TNT released the AEW Unrestricted podcast with Cody and Amanda Huber. So he was still being promoted for TNT and AEW up until the day before he announced he will no longer be with the company. And this isn't like a Daniel Bryan or Adam Cole where like they were in a match and then they were no longer in a match. He was being promoted, and then he and the company said that we're not going to work together for a little bit at least. And I've been rambling on for a while, so I'll end this soon. This will go up on audio platforms later. I might upload this before Dynamite. Like, who freaking knows? This might not have a thumbnail for a couple days. Who cares? It's just weird, because I was talking to Derek on Monday night, and that's Derek was on the phone with me telling me Raw as it happened, which is a very funny thing that I kind of want to continue because we were on and off the phone for approximately 4 hours. Because we talked before and shortly after Raw. But his phone kept dying. That's Derek. And the news broke that like Stone Cold Steve Austin might return to wrestling for the first time in almost 20 years. And oh my God, that's like huge news. Like the only bigger news there could be would be The Rock returning to wrestling. Or so we thought. Like the fact that this overtook a Stone Cold return news break shows that Cody, in his time away from WWE, became the star that he wanted to become, which is nice. Like there's always that old adage that like Cody Rhodes is like a solid like 2.5 star match every time. Like every Cody match is like almost the same. And I feel like that maybe was true when he was dashing and he was a Rhodes Scholar and Stardust. But I mean, if you think about it, that was kind of Bobby Lashley before he left too. Like Bobby Lashley was not good at wrestling when he was in WWE the first time. And then he left. And when he came back, now he's WWE champion because they see that Bobby Lashley is a good wrestler now. And I'm not saying that Cody Rhodes was on the same level as Bobby Lashley. Both amateur wrestlers, both really good athletes. But Cody definitely and for sure is a much bigger star. In his time, he did All In. All In was basically, it was Cody and the Bucks, but Cody's the one who was just like, who responded to Dave Meltzer, who like was making all these connections. Like, I know the Stephen Amell match like wasn't with Cody, but I mean like he's friends with Cody. You know, they had that thing. I'm pretty sure. In 2014 at SummerSlam. They might have had the thing at 2015 at SummerSlam as well, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been 2 instances. Who knows? It was like Stephen Amell and Neville versus Cody Rhodes and Wade Barrett, something like that. 100% Derek? Let's go. Derek's just nodding in disapproval, like he always does. Yeah. In summation, whatever happens, if this is a work, this is brilliant. It has fooled everybody, including WWE and Vince McMahon. If it is not a work, that is a huge loss for AEW, whether Tony Khan admits it or not, whether it is said on television or being the elite. Cody Rhodes is a huge loss to AEW as not only an executive vice president, not only as a talent, but as a locker room figure. He offers so much. He does the Nightmare Factory stuff with QT Marshall. Who knows if that's gonna still be a relationship? I know that Sean Spears and Tyler Breeze had a relationship. They had a gym when they were in opposite companies, so maybe it can work out. I mean, Chris Jericho was on the Stone Cold podcast after WrestleMania, so I mean, who really knows what the terms are? Does Cody do the Go Big show? Probably not. They'll replace him with like, I don't know, who's like a David Dobrik. I don't know. David Dobrik has been with David Dobrik to Network Help. Maybe I'll edit that out. Yeah. Either way, at least Downstraight can maybe make a better song. Till next time. I've been me. You've been you. We'll see you next time.